Um, so you know that feeling of like being stuck in a waiting room for your own life?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
It's that nagging sense that you're just waiting for a sudden burst of confidence, or
Mm.
maybe for someone to finally give you permission before the real you can step forward.
Right. It's what we call the trap of potential. We convince ourselves that the capable, successful version of us is just, right around the corner, waiting for the exact right external circumstances to arrive.
Exactly. And today, we're dismantling that waiting room.
Mm.
Welcome to the deep dive.
Yeah.
We're looking at a fascinating text today called From Wishing to Being.
And I love this source because it frames the shift not as some magical overnight transformation, but as a very specific behavioral shift.
Yeah, the mission today is really understanding the psychological difference between uh, wanting to be someone and actually embodying that identity right now,
The author actually draws a really sharp line there. They call it orientation versus embodiment.
which was pretty confronting to read, honestly. Like, we
Yeah.
usually think of wishing is a good thing, right? Like having ambition.
Yeah. Right. But the text argues that wishing is actually an orientation toward the future. It's essentially a declaration of lack.
Yeah, because when you say, I want to be confident,
Mm.
you are actively reinforcing the reality that right now you aren't.
It's a huge linguistic trap. Wishing is always looking for external confirmation. It projects your identity into this fantasy future where everything is magically resolved.
Whereas being, on the other hand, is about integration,
Exactly. It references internally. You shift the language entirely from I want to be to I act as someone who is.
which, I mean, it sounds a little bit like fake it till you make it, but the source makes a really crucial distinction there.
Yeah, faking it is a performance for other people. Being is about where you derive your actual sense of self.
It's bringing that future identity into the present moment through action, rather than just keeping it as a safe little fantasy.
And safe is the operative word there, because if it were just about changing our mindset, everyone would do it instantly.
Right. But there's a big obstacle. The text identifies a gap between wishing and being, and that gap is basically just fear.
Specifically, the fear of ruining the fantasy.
Yes. Because as long as I'm just wishing to be a great writer or wishing to be a leader, I don't ever have to face the reality of writing a terrible sentence.
Or making a bad call that upsets people.
Exactly. Wishing is safe because it remains entirely theoretical.
Embodying a new identity carries real risk. The risk of rejection, failure, judgment. If you act as that person today, you might fall flat on your face.
So we just stay in the wishing phase to protect ourselves from disappointment. We'd rather hold on to the perfect dream than deal with a messy reality.
Which brings us to the method. How do we actually bridge that gap?
And the source is adamant here. It is not about grand dramatic gestures. It is entirely about repetition.
Small acts. It suggests asking yourself one actionable question. What would the version of me who already has this do today?
Today, the immediacy is key. Not what are they planning to do next year, but what would they do right this second?
And the examples they give were so practical. Like, if you wish to be peaceful, you don't wait until you can afford to move to a quiet cabin in the woods.
No, you regulate your nervous system daily, right in the middle of your totally chaotic life.
The one about confidence really stuck out to me, though. If you wish to be confident, you don't wait for the fear to completely vanish.
Right, you tolerate discomfort without collapsing.
That definition completely reframes confidence. It's not the absence of fear at all.
It's just the ability to sit with it. And it's the same for love. If you wish to be loved, you have to practice openness and boundaries right now.
Instead of waiting for a partner to suddenly complete you, wishing focuses on the outcome. Like, when X happens, I will finally be Y.
But being focuses entirely on the process, saying, I cultivate this trait through my actions right now.
Which naturally leads to the paradox the source describes, the irony of attachment.
Yes, this is my absolute favorite part. The idea that the more you embody this state internally, the less you actually need the external validation.
Because when you stop desperately waiting for an outcome to define you, you lose all that needy energy. You're already practicing the identity.
You completely stop begging the world for permission to exist.
And the funny thing is, that internal stability is exactly what attracts the external results you wanted in the first place.
People are drawn to being, not wishing.
Always.
So moving from wishing to being is really a move from fantasy to taking responsibility. It's claiming agency.
Realizing that the door to the waiting room was never actually locked, we just hadn't bothered to stand up and walk out.
You don't have to wait to become. And as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with a thought to chew on as you go about your day.
I think I know where you're going with this.
If the transition from wishing to being is really just a matter of small actions you can take right now, what specific wish are you currently using as a shield to avoid the responsibility of just being that person today?
That is the real question, isn't it?
It really is. Thanks for joining us for the deep dive, and we'll catch you next time.